Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, cinephiles and other cinema-related cinema things. Today we're talking about The Flash with Grant Gustin, Season 1, Episode 4, which is entitled Going Rogue, which should bring up to most Americans images of Sarah Palin, and maybe that weird porn that had that chick impersonating Palin, which somehow I think is less offensive than Sarah Palin herself, but I digress. If you're a fan of the comics, you know Going Rogue is a nod to Captain Cold. So, who winds up being the villain in this? Well, it ain't Santa Claus. Now, Captain Cold is discount Mr. Freeze, in my opinion, and I think in this one he may even be discounted a little further, although it could be true to some comic interpretations. Here he is. Now, Wentworth Miller's interpretation of Leonard Snart, the Captain Cold character, I will actually say is spot on. He is very cold and calculating. And you can see this person who is very cold and calculating and never loses his cool having almost a love affair with the idea of cold itself. So it's a natural transition to him. He is a very strong character. He's almost like an evil Batman, I think you would say, or like a Kaiser Soze from Reservoir Dogs. He is in total control of the situation. Though with Reservoir Dogs, you don't realize that Soze's in control till later. But I think that might be a spoiler, but you're not watching this for Reservoir Dogs. Anyway... Anyway, here is a character who knows his business and doesn't lose his cool, going up against the Flash, a guy who's always running headlong into danger. Although, this being the 4th episode of the series, we do know he runs headlong into danger, but we don't know if he's been doing that his whole life. So yeah, these two are strong enemies in the comics. This is a great nod to them. Now, Emily Bette Richards... Is it Bette? I think it's Bette. Emily Bette Richards makes a cameo as her character from Green Arrow. Or not a cameo, a guest appearance as her character from Green Arrow. And we're happy about this because, you know what? She's a very attractive woman. And she does the whole nerd thing pretty well. In fact, she does the awkwardly sexy nerd thing pretty well. And I'm into nerdy chicks to begin with. So you can imagine that I searched some pictures of this gal to see if she's done anything a little more sexy than Green Arrow. Didn't find anything, but maybe I didn't look hard enough. Maybe I'm not that dedicated to creeping my celebrity crushes. Well, enough about me. In any case, she does a great job in this particular episode. I really did like the chemistry between the characters. We found out more, a little more, I'd say, about the Flash and his relationships. But then... now I want to know how it is, before The Flash, he had a relationship with Green Arrow 600 miles away. He can't exactly make that in a flash until he becomes The Flash, so there are too many flashes in this conversation. Now again, I'm sure if I watched Arrow, I would get that. Arrow was on my watch list after Daredevil and after the rest of The Flash. So that's my thing there. But again... great performance by the villain. He's a big bad villain. He does well. He's combating the Flash in a reasonable manner. But there is still the relaying important information in crowded hallways thing that shouldn't be happening because everybody would know who this guy is. Then there's what I like to call the Batman cliche. And this is something everybody knows who is into comics. Knows about Batman coming up with a plan for what to do if superheroes go rogue. Which now seems to fit slightly into this episode. So there's the thing, but then when the superheroes find out that he has a plan for what he would do if they go rogue, they get pissed off. And they always get pissed off, and it's becoming cliche. I mean, look, you've got a superpower, you might turn evil, we need to have a backup plan. I get that. The hero should get that. And unless we live in a universe where comics don't exist, the hero should have seen this before and already understand. I mean, this is a world where Superman exists, and now there are these things called metahumans. The majority of the ones we're finding in this series are bad guys, by nature. They come out, yes, I'm going to steal things and hurt people. Well, you need to have a plan to deal with them. So what happens when your only metahuman on your side goes rogue? Which doesn't happen in this episode. No spoiler there. But what happens? You got to have a plan. And we should all deal with that. I mean, a superhero objecting to there being a plan to deal with him if he goes rogue is the same thing as a police officer objecting to wear a camera to make sure he doesn't hurt criminals. I mean, he's a person of the law. He has to understand that there are safeties involved. So yeah, there's my take on this episode. There are things I liked about it. There are things I didn't like about it. Again, I am no more likely to see the rest of the series now that I've seen that, but then I have Netflix, so I'm probably going to go binge watch the whole rest of the thing and stop doing reviews. So, yeah, enough about my pathetic life. Peace!